So why would we want a thermal imaging camera inside of a ghost hunt? Just shout them out, guys. This ain't school.
To see the ghost, if there's nothing down a hallway, if you point it and you see a figure and there's no one there, then that's ghost.
So all of my cameras see ghosts. I'm asking how.
Different temperatures.
Thank you, but how so?
Heat and cool.
Be more specific.
Yeah, so it'll the colors will represent hotter and colder temperatures.
Blue is colder and then red is hotter.
So are ghosts hot or cold?
Entities are normally colder.
Cold. You guys are overthinking it now. I know I said, break it down, but think simple, guys. Like, again, have fun with this. But again, don't overthink it. Ghosts create cold spots. So that's what we're looking for. Okay. So this is a FLIR thermal imaging camera. So this is what firemen would actually use to actually help save people. So this is not a phone app you guys can go home and download, just so you guys know what this guy is. So we are looking for blue and black. Like I said, I normally make the joke that I'm the hottest thing inside the frame, and I'm the red, orange, and yellow in there. All right, so the blue and black are going to be the coldest spots in there. So I want them to either move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. That's what we've caught in the past with this. That's what I'm going to be looking for. The other piece is that it does have a blue dot bouncing around the screen. That blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So right now for us tonight is about 63 to 64 degrees ambient. So I'm going to be looking for about 49 degrees, 50 degrees for anything, because I do look for 15 plus degree temperature drops for this guy. So if we don't have a full, cold-blooded person standing in front of us, I may find a cold spot that might be 30 to 40 degrees. So again, it's still unexplainable in temperatures like this. So we will be doing a few starts. All right, guys. Video camera's running and spirit box is unmuted. Megan's ready. She's like, damn it, I want to get to work already.
There you go. And it's at the top. See the numbers at the top?
All the crap I was looking at before didn't even go.
There you go.
You got it.
Don't worry, it wasn't anything on it.
So the different words that keep popping up on mine, I just ignore that, or?
Oh, no. So every once in a while I'm going to come to you and I'm going to take a look at the list to kind of see where we're at. We already have a number from the date that I told them about the fire. Really doing these things. Your guy is already carrying over the rates. So whatever it does, somebody reset it. Some of the weathers right now,
And I haven't seen anything, to be honest.
so if you can't make anything out of it, I'm probably not going to be able to do it either. So then you're going to take this green dial that's here and turn it counterclockwise.
You're all red.
Counterclockwise.
Yeah.
And then turn it back on.
She's acting weird over there, but she's hot. So she's detecting weird.
So yours is working off the
I
EMF.
don't know, they know us.
So we only want the left right button on. That's working off the EMF. This one's tapped, so if we walk a step too hard, it's going to make it go. So I don't like to use it. At least when we're walking around. I would use that indoors.
Oh, she's talking on the phone.
So there's a sensitivity on here as well. So below the red light is a dial. So right now I'm cranked it all the way up because we do get a lot.
She's got more details.
So if I say like in between spaces, go ahead and turn down a sensitivity because of the parking meters. Then you're just going to scale this guy back about a quarter turn. Nice and easy. So really you're going to be turning it on and off all night long and then turning the scale quarter back, then full. So that's really where you're going to be at. For the other two dials that are there, you don't need them. So only the left and right. But yeah, you're getting a lot of EMF over here, and I still don't see anything explode out of that. So you may even want to scale it back, just maybe an eighth.
Thank you. All right. Let's go ask some questions.
Go ask them questions. All right.
You got this. You got the belly shot. That's what I usually tell people to do. Just keep it belly level, because again, people get really weirded out when we're out here filming stuff and just walking around random spaces like, what the hell are you doing near my car? Megan, have you heard anything yet?
My bifocal
Hearing
first
bits and like pieces of music, but I can't really make out what it's trying to say.
So if you hear a song, tell me what they sang, not who it was.
Okay.
They don't know who Harry Styles is. They don't give a shit. They care about the lyric as it was.
Yeah.
So think of it as Bumblebee from Transformers.
Okay. And what were the questions you were asking me?
What happened to the mansion?
What happened to the mansion?
And then when did that happen?
When did it happen?
We got 48 and a Charles. We got a Charles and a 48. Like, it said Charles and then her thing immediately went up to 48.
Oh, yeah. I know you guys are like super excited.
Respect.
Exactly. But also,
I'm a witch, so it's how I do things. That's why it's just a witch.
Come on, shoot.
So a lot of those, leave now and go away and that kind of stuff. So if I want these things, I don't have to go there. And normally, like it's usually it's a very subtle piece. I don't take a lot of those like kind of bullshit we see on TV as valid pieces. Yeah, and this is not an angry fan. So I'm sure, like, even with the history of this movie, there's nothing left to ever anything about this space. This is a happy family. When I kind of like leave this with that space we run to, and some of us might be a little different from one of those things.
This is kind of.
What you got?
No, I'm not.
I've got the word stigmata. You're looking for blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, I got it. I got it all the way up to the orange. What's that supposed to be?
Eliza, are you here?
Or the yellow? Oh shit. That went all the way up.
You're here.
Somebody's here.
What are your initials?
I'm going up to red. Dang it. Going all the way up to red. Yeah, it was going all the way up to red. Battery died.
What's that?
over there.
Right directly there?
Yep.
Okay.
To the left of the stairwell.
Where were the bedrooms in correlation to the
Don't know.
back
There's no blueprint for it whatsoever.
Yeah, you
Only a
don't?
photograph of the outside.
Okay. Well, I'm looking for a normal path.
So normally we will get things like to the right of the entryway.
Yeah.
So you come in and go to the right, so it would be like up in that corner. And that would be considered like either the parlor or the meeting room.
Yeah.
Where they would actually greet
Or
guests.
cloak. Yeah, they put something up in the cloak and go into the other room.
So, and again, a lot of times there would have been even a male and female parlor just because of who the family was. So the males would meet on one side and the females would meet on another.
Oh, most likely they had some kind of servants there helping out
Yeah.
with the.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what I'm looking for is the main activity of them because they had to have been a big effect with those people.
So
They would know exactly what was going on in that house. So if you followed them around, you'll
we
actually
have gotten things from the servant quarters that would have been in the back, but I can't
Yeah.
prove any of it because there's no record of their servants. So,
yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. So
But,
as far as the layout of the house,
I'm getting the feeling that there was a lot of traffic.
I'm sure there was.
You know, I mean, when it came in, it kind of swerved a little bit this way, and it kind of went this way, and it's almost like an escort going through the house.
I've looked, and even archaeologists have looked for those blueprints of what the home would have looked like, and there isn't anything. There's a few small descriptions of some of the rooms and some of Eliza's letters, but other than that, there's really no description or blueprint or anything to show exactly where anything was, unfortunately. And
What were the initials again?
ELP.
Okay.
So Jeff has a
P.
EMP.
E-N.
N. Yeah, it's got to be
So
exact.
it's funny. I got a thought in my head about a movie that was very immaterial about this, and she kind of put Stigmata. Remember the movie
I do.
Stigmata?
Yeah.
That was funny.
Can't remember what came up on.
That was before she said it.
Say stranger.
Again, it does have spooky terms embedded into it.
Well,
but
with a group,
Yeah.
people get connected.
they can. Especially, I'm going to assume most of you are all family of some sort.
Yeah. Genetics are there.
Did you say stranger?
No, it said it sure is.
Oh,
It sure is. Did you hear anything else out of there yet?
you heard from
I've
her.
heard rock,
Okay.
Oh, I got it.
rock. I've heard investigate.
Okay.
Number 3.
All right. I think I need to rein everybody in to kind of show what's going on here. So, what do we have off there in the distance? Can't see faces right now.
Oh, that's Fishnet Girl.
Mary.
Mary.
All right.
Mary.
Let's kind of come over to this wall, everybody. So, Mary, come on back. Julia. Reese, where are you at? I want to see your word list and see if I can tie all this together here. See what we got going on.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, making sure.
So, okay, so a little bit, something else in here. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get Megan on mute. Let's kind of go through all of the answers here and show you what I'm excited about. So, video cameras, if we can give it a break, we'll just stop on. So, we've gotten, just so you know, things about Big John over here. And we could have had Pinckney Mansion things while we were over at Big John's. That's what I call bleed over. So we didn't get any of those things, but that's kind of the point of our next location. Our next location, I'm going to be relying on that piece because we're going to be in an alleyway, and there may be other tours in there, and we won't be able to fully explore the space like what we're doing here. So I kind of go in there and stir shit up, and then we go across the street, and hopefully you're going to get all of the answers from both spaces in one space. Does that make sense? So what I am excited about so far is that we did get the number 11, so keep that in the back of your brain. And Jeff, that was a song about fire. What did you hear? Fire down below.
I also heard fire, and me and her just had the best medium experience I have ever heard. So basically, so whenever I heard Charles, the male presence completely disappeared. I walked over there because I felt a female presence, and as soon as I got close, I was like, sat back. She also felt like she was going to cry whenever she
She got hers all the way up to her 40 kids. So let me explain what these things look like inside your home. So your TV set gives off between a 40 to 60 milligauss. So kind of keep that in your brain. We did get a 48. So right in the middle of what this is, set your box in the middle of the screen with your electricity. There's no control, the wires are not close to it. Okay. The microwave running on high runs about 150 to 170. The highest I've ever seen during the Mary's device go has been in this location in my 12 years of ghost hunting. 214 milligauss. That's like putting your head inside the running microwave. We left quickly. So I actually also have seizures, so that's too much electricity in the air for the guy with the neurological disorder. The 48 is safe because I stare at a TV when I'm not working with you guys. I'm watching paranormal shows, learning, just like you guys. So at the same time, you guys get the point, like 48 is very exciting, especially for being outdoors. The average for this space is between 18 to 22 milligauss on that device. I was actually hoping Letty would have gotten hers at least up to like a 7 to a 10 in that bracket. So there's a dial on there, Letty. Turn it 2 spaces to the right. We're going to try another mode with yours, just to kind of see. I'm still learning more about that device. I just got it a few months ago, and I don't know what you do. So there is a milligauss standard and a milligauss slated. Joseph?
Yeah.
That's where we're going next.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So let's go over all of these answers to kind of show how this connects. Because Tracy looks like she's going to fall asleep on me. We gotta get this party rolling. So whenever I break out the tablet, you don't need to huddle around. I will go like around the table here, kind of show you. You know, I got used to that for just so you know. I've been doing it for that long. This is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. So maiden name being Lucas. First wife was Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So Lamb and Lucas were the names we should have been looking for on Teresa's device. Then that's also where the ELP comes from for Amy's device. So this wife married Charles at the age of 22. Charles was 45. Creepy for me because I'm close to Chuck's age. My oldest daughter is Eliza's age. So you can see why I say creepy age gap. I will tell you 2 nights ago, I actually had a couple on my group and they said, well, we're 21 years apart. I'm like, well, foot in mouth for me. You know, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
So the mansion. The only photograph of the mansion that I know of that exists. This is fire damage from the Great Fire of 1861. So we did hear the word fire on 2 different occasions from Jeff and Madeline. So that's where the fire down below. That's why I said all the little silly things that you guys hear. Like Jeff almost didn't tell me that he heard fire down below. So this
I
happened.
just got fired.
This happened on December 11th of 1861. We did get the number 11 on the way over here from Teresa's device, so I'm excited about that, which means we just missed the 12 or the 61 along the way. And that's okay. You guys have never done this before, so again, when we do get at least 1 digit to kind of confirm that, like I'm good. We did get the number 10 too, didn't we? I don't know what that means, but I'm going to dive into it. It was before the 11, just so you know. I saw it. Yeah, we did get that 17. I don't know what that one means either. Every tour in town is going to tell you about a great fire here in Charleston, simply because there's been dozens of them. This is the fire that took out the mansion, looking at a map of Charleston. It literally went from one side of the peninsula all the way to the other. This was a giant fire, about $9 million worth of damage. Yeah.
Back then, that's not
Yeah, I don't know what it equates to now, because inflation changes every day. I'm not
It'd be astronomical.
I don't know, but I'm going to write that one down, especially since you heard it that way. I also want to point out that Justin's camera died already.
I didn't
They're
touch it.
sucking out energy.
Hang on, let me explain. So, every night, every morning when I get home, because remember, I don't get home until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning for this. So I get home and I plug everything in to make sure everything's charging, and then I recheck all of the devices again before I leave the house. So that battery was 100% before I left the house. So that's why I don't normally put the battery drainage as a normal thing. So when it does occur on these routes of mine, it's legit. So I did take note of it, and we have no more pictures to be taken. So whatever he took is what you guys are going to get back. So unless Justin drained it unless he just pulled the battery out of it and said, yeah, I don't want to take any more pictures. So
Have you had batteries drained quickly like that before?
on occasion.
Yeah.
It is very rare for me to be able to see that. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So it is, like I said, I bring extra
Yeah.
batteries and everything's on a recharge and everything. So it is a rarity. I probably see that only 3 or 4 times a year at best. Now, with the children, that's what I talk about next. So here's why you'll see why I don't go into this and give you guys the questions, because I don't want you guys poking the bear. There were 4 children grand total. Charles, you already know about. He was a signer of the Constitution. The next child is Thomas. He fought in a Revolutionary War battle. He was shot in his left leg and captured by the British. So when the British released him, he was left on a cane and a limp. So you can see the very specific clues of things that I'll find when you guys hear things about Thomas. It's kind of like the fire in the 11 piece. We'll get like Thomas, limp, cane. You guys are getting the point. The next child is where we don't poke the bear. Baby George. You can already see where this one's going. Baby George, in June of 1747, was born and passed away. His death certificate only says June of 1747 in both the birth and death columns. So that means we don't know the dates or how old he was. I'm going to guess because he has a name, he also means he was christened, and that takes a few weeks after death. So I'm going to say that he was at least 2 weeks old before he passed away. The other weird thing about George is he does not have a headstone and he does not have a grave. My theory behind this is that the family may have mummified the child from the church's permission and kept him right here in the home, inside of a tomb, waiting for mom to pass away so he could be buried with her. It's a religious practice that would have been legit, but there's never any record of it. So kind of keep that in the back of your brain. The last child, Harriet, the only daughter. So she marries Daniel Orey. That's important if you're not familiar with our coast. Myrtle Beach, 2.5 hours north of here, is in Horry County. So that gives you an idea of where Harriet lived. I don't hear from Harriet very often, and it's because basically she lived up there and she's probably haunting something up there. And it wouldn't have been a 2.5-hour car ride for Eliza to go see her. Lots of letter writing. If I do hear from Harriet, quill, ink, paper, published, anything dealing with letter writing between her and her mother. And all of those letters were published in one volume called The Letter Book of Eliza Lucas Pinckney. So it's all of Eliza's letters, including those back and forth to her daughter Harriet. It's a very interesting read if you really wanted a clear snapshot of colonial days. You get it from firsthand word of mouth. Yes.
I got blue earlier.
Okay, so remind me to write those down in the 3 and 1. Yeah, the blue dye, the indigo.
Yeah.
So that's how I took it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where was I? Eliza's death. So we did have a couple of folks with those questions. Eliza was 70 years old when she passed away. That was 1793. For the youngsters in the group, I want to point out that that is a long time for a woman to be alive during colonial days. So with that, she was going to Philadelphia, getting treatments, whatever they thought she had. It turned out to be breast cancer. We didn't know what the hell breast cancer was in 1793. We're going based off her medical records. So kind of take that for what it's worth. She died in Philly. She's buried in Philly. This should raise 2 questions in the back of your brain. First one, Baby George. If my theory is true, we're going to transport that tomb from here all the way to Philadelphia by horse and carriage. That's a long trek. Most of you look old enough to remember the game Oregon Trail. Somebody's going to die of dysentery. So you guys got my joke. Thank you for that. Secondly, if Eliza's buried up in Philadelphia, what the hell are we doing here? I don't actually take you to cemeteries. It's minimal activity at best. I do this 7 nights a week, where I get to take 10 to 12 of you on a ghost hunt. I don't need randomness. I like to know and have a relationship with my ghosts. So, and none of you are going to stare at your headstone when you're gone. You're going to go to your mansions 400 miles away, which is exactly where you're standing. This is where Eliza raised her family. This is where the raised emotion is for that woman. That's what I look for when I'm looking for a place to investigate, is raised emotion. Doesn't have to be gory, doesn't have to be bloody. It's not TV. I'm learning history. You guys are getting the point. Who wants to take a guess at who the president was that was the pallbearer at the funeral, 1793? Aha, I love it.
Oh, hell.
Good guess, but wrong. Here's why I'm excited. Nope. When we came over here, I told y'all I'm not going to give you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. I do that on purpose, subliminally putting George Washington in the back of all of your brains, because that's the true answer of who the pallbearer was at Eliza's funeral. And I wait for you guys to tell me that, and notice I gave you all the answers back except for that one. I waited for you guys to screw it up one more time. You all passed with a fail because you gave me wrong answers. I appreciate that. So that's what I actually look for, so thanks, Joe, for guessing the wrong crowd. So it was George Washington, and at his own request, he wanted to pay homage to Eliza because of her indigo that helped get her country started. It was a very big deal to him. Now let's face it, most of the Pinckney men were politicians. It's not like he didn't know his 13 governors. So it kind of takes in stride of what the time frame actually was. So the next space we're going to is an alleyway, like I said. We're not going to record any video along the way, so those of you that are still recording, I don't know if Don's still recording back there, we're not going to record in between EMF readers. You're obviously don't pay attention to them while we're on the sidewalks. So that would be Justin, Mary, and Letty. So when we get inside the alley, your baseline is basically going to be a 7. So anything above a 7, yours is going to basically be anything above an orange that is flickering, not remaining steady. We're going to have some lamppost mirrors that will give off EMF around us. When we are inside the alley, there may be other people in there. We're going to be very discreet with our recording of video. So just like Don is standing right now, he's the perfect belly shot. That's exactly what we want. So keep it nice and low. And we want to try to get trackways of the alleyway, not necessarily in our circle, because we're going to be standing around like this as I kind of stir things up, and we're going to leave. So kind of, I'm okay with the video camera people turning or moving their camera to get something up and down the alley. Just don't film the other tours. That's the only thing that I ask. So where's my other camera at?
Right now.
Oh,
A
got it.
second ago, I got your acting with my emotions. I don't know if that means anything.
No, but we were just talking about Eliza's emotion.
Yeah.
Thinking about covers this location. Teresa, did you get anything else on your word list I need to know about before we leave?
It's like a full frisbee
I had to
song, or it's
explain
like an
everything.
actual like voice.
All right, let's go learn about killing people. That sounds like a good time, right? All right, we're gonna go this way.
Kill, alley,
Get me out.
get me
and
out,
Terrified.
terrified.
It's all a bunch of the TV stuff.
Yeah, very much so.
So I'll write down alley. So did you get anything on yours, Amy?
Gun.
Gun.
Just gun. That's
Alexa.
it.
I like it.
Oh, her said Alexa.
It said Alexa. Now it says eggs.
It says what?
Eggs.
Alexa.
Hey, today I want Alexa to order eggs.
Yeah.
Jeff, anything on yours?
Honestly, I didn't put it on until we entered the alley because of traffic and everything.
I heard
Yeah.
a kid scream.
So did I.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, just so you know, like all of those screaming and that kind of thing is probably just coming, obviously, from the way it's switching radio stations. I don't write down sounds unless it's relevant to our location.
Yeah.
So screams mean nothing to me.
I get that, but 3 screams in a row, subconsciously for me,
Sure.
immediately means turn it off for a minute.
Okay. So I like.
Go on
alley,
your head.
and you had gun spelled out.
Yeah. Do you?
Do you guys know where you're at?
No. I have no clue.
This is
Yes.
Doors Alley.
What? Oh my god!
Dole's Alley.
I felt pain in my ear.
That
whenever I
is
entered
so
the alley.
cool.
That's the wrong spot.
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
So, again, with the cameras, you don't always need to point them
Okay.
directly at me. You can. What we actually prefer is for it to go one way down the alley or another. So if another tour is going to come through here,
That's
they're going to
pretty
come
cool.
out of that ivy wall, and they're going to cut through us. Like we'll split the C's and let them pass through, or they're going to come in the same way that we did. Okay, so I know right now we have the whole alley to ourselves, but we really truly don't. I'll explain in just a moment. But this is Philadelphia Alley now, but it used to be called Uller's Alley. So every ghost tour comes down here. This is the place I'm actually retiring this year, so this will be the last month that I'll be coming down here. Because starting in November, right after Halloween, my busiest season, obviously, I start investigating a new space for the following year. I get a lot of repeat customers, ghost hunters, so to speak. I don't like calling you guys customers because you're coming to hang out with me. But a lot of repeaters, and they don't always want to see the exact same spaces. I'll be honest, last year I was looking to retire the Pinckney Mansion site just because I was getting disrespectful ghost hunters there. Like, come on, Eliza, and then they go take a leak in the corner kind of mentality. So, yeah. So I gave the space a few weeks off and was looking into other places, but I keep getting drawn back there. For the 4 years I've been giving the tour, that has been kind of a staple because it is so active all the time. I did decide to keep it, but I will also tell you because Maddie and I actually had a little conversation, like she was trying to introduce herself and those kind of things. I'm like, with that space, every single night before I meet with y'all, I cut through that area, like through the whole space, and I let Eliza know how many people I'm bringing and what your names are if I know them. That's kind of the pact that I made with her. So it's not necessarily me like just sitting down and reading them off. Like that's why your names are all on my notebook. So I just read them off. Eliza, I'm bringing 12 people. Jason is bringing his wife and daughter. I don't know what their names are, but here's the other names that I do know. You know, and it's just a respect piece. So again, let's talk about the alley because that's why we're here.
I just heard what's going on and why.
Too big.
Yeah.
Too big for me. Dueler's Alley. Again, every ghost tour comes down here. I'm going to tell you the same story that they tell, but I'm going to give you more details because you're ghost hunting. So it's not going to be a campfire marshmallow type of ghost story, right? So let's get into it. A doctor moved down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you listening on Spirit Box, hopefully Jeff is at this point, and you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name, and we get it here all the time. So take that for what it is. Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, yeah, you guys can sit down, it's story time. See, a lot of people are just like, oh, where can I sit? He tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd moves to Charlestown to prove that he's not just after Amanda's money. And the coachman that brought Dr. Ladd into Charleston is basically setting him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston. So somebody was walking by. He was somewhat of a local because he'd already lived here for a few years, and he knows the coachman's going to try to kill this newcomer. His name is Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop on Ralph for just a second. Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. We were getting the letters RI all the time on regular spirit boxes, so that's why I bought the device that Amy's using. I wanted to clarify that they were the specific letters of RI. I've had Amy's device for probably 7, 8, 9 months at this point, and we've had it about half a dozen times whenever I brought up Ralph's name. You will be looking for the letters RI in that order, no anagram of initials. So back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay with them. They'll rent your room, and you'll be safe. The doc took them up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. So Amanda gets wind of this, that he's making his own cash flow, and she's moving down, so that way they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Now, every haunted city you're ever going to visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. I'm just going to point that out right now. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So I don't like cliches and tropes, which is another reason why I'm getting rid of this space for this year. Now, back to Dr. Ladd and Ralph. They go see plays together. They cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So, on the way home, after seeing Richard III, they're arguing over a new actress that they just saw. And Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. It turned into an argument, and then Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It gets pretty ugly, and they go their separate ways. I told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes to the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of like, you're a disgrace to society kind of thing. The doctor saw the ad, but rebutted it with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. So, yeah, all this started over an actress, by the way. So they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor points his gun in the air and shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have courage to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one bullet. We've actually had that quite a bit here. Ralph points his gun at the doctor and shoots him in the kneecap. The doctor doesn't die. He fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later. November 2nd, 1786. Now, we are very close to the dueling date. Say we are 2 days away from the actual alleged anniversary of that actual duel. So, the fact that you have shame, and I think I've heard that here in this location for at least 3 or 4 nights ago. I'm just going to point that out. So that has actually just been a common theme here. I don't know why. Because Ralph is actually pretty proud of his little moment. Shameful. Do you have shameful as well?
Oh,
nice.
wow. That's crazy.
Is it though? That's when he showed up?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, every ghost tour that comes down here tells y'all to listen for the whistles. This is why I had you guys start all of them with the video cameras, because I wanted to make sure, like, we're not going to stay here. We're not going to stand around and listen in the silence. We have 3 video cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to get a whistle, it'll show up on one of those 3 cameras, or it'll show up on a recording of a spirit box through the whistling of a song, and then the word doctor will come up immediately after. Yes?
I got a whistle earlier.
Where?
Whenever you were like telling us about like if we got
In this space?
Yeah.
Okay. So you do have a possible whistle. So with those, I do like to verify those, just so you know, because that is
I
a
haven't
very
heard a
specific.
doctor yet though.
It normally will come up afterwards, so it'll be in part of the song. Think of Guns N' Roses' "Patience" or moves like Jagger. You hear that little whistling part of the song, and then the word "doctor" shows up from a commercial. So I don't take that as coincidence because I don't believe in coincidences. So if you're going to try this on your own, by the way, and you're going to walk all the way through this alley without me, when we're not touring, obviously not tonight, turn on the voice recorders from your phones. See if you can get the whistles in the background. But just keep in mind, every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every morning. So my office is over here, my garage is over there, which means I have to pass by the alley every single morning. morning. So I always throw a whistle. Sometimes I get a whistle back, sometimes I don't. So take that for what it is. It's a personal experience for me. And I always throw a whistle since I got kicked out of here. Let's talk about that, because that's actually a fun part of the story. Right? You want to actually hear this part? So, I'm getting surgery down here quite a few times. The alley didn't always go all the way through that way, the way we came in. There was a wall up there, so right about where those steps are. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. This used to be called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. So cows and chickens were down here, basically. So what does that mean for you guys? That means that the bricks on the other side of the alleyway are older than the ones you're standing on.
Oh,
So,
just a few signs. Oh, that's just a few signs of me.
so she's making me lose track. Those bricks down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint down there with fingerprint swipes and others. And I used to take my groups all the way through to go down that way to go to another spot. And again, I treat that brick the same way as a grain. Like, it was just a matter of history, no mattering the diversity of the group, because we all need to see how far we've come from slavery. That was the whole point of me showing it to anybody. However, November 26th, 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen with all the gear that I hand out. I'm trying to shoo them along, not just because nothing's going to happen, but it's also outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm trying to be respectful. I didn't realize that I was out of bounds for tours. The new owner of that mansion came out, and he was screaming. My daughter thought it was great because her father's getting yelled at while at work. Yeah. So she thought it was hysterical. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I worked in retail management, like I said, managing hundreds of people. So I don't do Thanksgiving anymore because it was for Walmart. And it was basically because you guys like to fight over towels on Black Friday. So yeah, you guys kind of laughing about it now, so can I. But I don't work on Thanksgiving. So the next day was the 28th of November. And I called my partner that I had at the time that brought me into tourism, and I told him what happened. He laughed at me too, just like my daughter did. And he said, dude, you're allowed to go down halfway. That's the cutoff point for tours. Otherwise, you got to reroute the group. So I decided that night I'm going to have to reroute the group, but I told them I don't believe in the next story. I've never had anything happen there, and I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. We're obviously going to be discussing pirates
there was
next.
2 Americans lost in like different songs.
Songs?
Yeah, or they were speaking, but it was different like radio channels, and then one of the words was a song.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, before we left this space, they already know that we're going to be discussing pirates, but somebody heard the name Amy. I told them which pirate we were going to be investigating, the famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was kind of like, well, okay, maybe we're going to get something. Now, we get around the corner, and I told them a little bit I did know about piracy. Somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that one means. I write it down. I do the research for them the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary for piracy. Oh, wow. Yeah. So you guys kind of get the oh wows all the time. I was actually pissed off. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing. So all of my degrees are in writing. Even when I'm doing this, especially when I'm doing this, I need facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that were written 100 years after their alleged events of them occurring. So trying to make sure like what we're going to be discussing at the next location took dozens of books reading. Not that I'm not like into reading. I'm not into pirates that much. At least I wasn't. But now I'm watching documentaries, I'm playing video games on pirates, and I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff about pirates. It's a fun story over there, but it is a 50-50 roll of the dice if we're going to have something from Anne Bonny over there. Just because she is said to be seen all over town, which is why we kind of also get the bleed over from this location. So that's the hope is when we get over there. So Megan will be able to unmute once we get rolling again. Hopefully Jeff will listen in along the way. But this alleyway is very unique. So, Letty, hand off your EMF reader because you're not going to need it. So Letty, go ahead and have a seat.
There's another tour.
Have a seat.
Mother.
No, your spirit box you need to hang on to for sure. Jeff, I think I'm going to add Mary into this. Because I think I'm going to have her do your so, you need a new set of earbuds? No. You want a new set of earbuds? So only because I know Mary was just as excited about this at the top of the night, so I think we're going to do a double blind plus Letty's part of it. So that way, your EMF
Bunch of people, especially women, on a park bench in the middle of a dark park. People are going to be looking at us, see what the hell those people are doing. So you guys are going to just kind of hang out here for 5 minutes. I'm going to take the rest of the group over to that monument and teach them the history. So we'll be back in like 5 minutes. And then that way when we come back, you guys can hear everything up and show you how this works. I'll give you a few tips and tricks.
That's actually a good idea to have Mary, because me and Mary have been being totally independent. It's hard to fix this whole thing. Yeah. I've just screwed up because I know that walking like puts you deeper into the essence.
So here are your blindfold here.
Oh, what I
So again, you're a philosopher.
And she, her name, didn't she, Angus?
Yes, she learned it.
It was a foster I had. She was a bottle fed, and she didn't have any siblings come with her. So she didn't get that, sibling rivalry. And, yeah.
All right, everybody, let's go learn the history. Bring it over here.
Come on, Dustin. Yeah.
It's a 1/10 reference long.
The Washington 100. Yep. You told me if I expanded this 10 times, it would be inside. There is no.
I would say when I did my investigation there, in the daytime, it's like I've never even stepped outside the building. Names were on the spirit boxes. Names. I actually found a couple of things where it was just like who the names are, and they were all last names. So, and it could have also been first names. So I had like Andrews, Johnson. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these things that could have been first or last names kind of thing, depending on the time period. So yeah, I have to look at things as a theme to them. And that was one of those cases. And my wife passed out there. She's not affected by these kind of things. She passes out twice in the same location because I put her back in the exact same spot. Yeah, I think I got it up. We're out of there. So, first time I came in here, this is the new space, by the way, so I didn't know a whole lot. There's a lot of monuments in here, so I didn't know what to expect. And I told you, after Halloween is when I get started with the new space. I only had 2 people, because in November it was cold. And the first time I came in here, I just told the lady with the spirit box, tell me whatever you hear. I don't know what we're going to find. I know that other tours come in here. I want to know why. So, the other tours won't come in here for the story I'm about to tell you, by the way. They're all talking about the first serial killers. But anyway, the young lady heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. I was using Teresa's word list because that's, again, I always have a staple when it's just a smaller group. And I had the name Tim that showed up on my word list. Behind me is the bust of Henry Timrod. He was born in 1828. So, very specific year. Now, so here's what you guys need to know about him. First off, he's a writer. I don't know why it is so loud tonight. Like, it is actually, I'm going to be, like, by the time I get to the office, I'm going to not have a voice. Like, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it's crazy tonight. And last night it rained, so we actually had to, like, duck the rain. Like, I gave us people, like, an extra 45 minutes because we had to wait for 45 minutes to get out of the rain zone. So it was kind of a crazy night. But anyway, back to him. So you need to know that he was a writer and he was sick for most of his life. So here's how his career goes. Being born in 1828, he was old enough to go fight in the Civil War. So he goes out to the battlefield to go fight the Confederates. So he goes out to the battlefield and his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So his comrades sent him home and said, go be the voice of the wolf, knowing he was a right man. I wanted him to write about what was going on. That's exactly what he did. He did it in 1941. Years go by, he has a son. His son is very tragic death. So a couple more years go by, and he's just writing classic best friend, the writer from Charleston, realizes he's not publishing for his newspaper as much as he should be. He says, you know what, to get back on track, go use my cottage in Columbia. It's in the middle of the state, and you can get back on track, leave Katie behind to finish mourning and do your son Willie. He goes out there and he wrote his last words. His last words were beholder of brief mortality, basically meaning dear person with short life. And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. Now, and he died right there on the page. That blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. We call this the Blood Book. They show it one day a year on Halloween at the Charleston Library Society because that's exactly where his collection is being held. You have to be a member of that society to be able to go see it, but the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you guys this Blood Book, and then we're going to go talk to all those 3 ladies over there and see if we can get some imagery and some conversation out of, Henry Timmer. So here's what's going to happen when we get over there as I kind of go around the room with this photograph of this bloody page. So I'll zoom in on the blood stain because that's pretty much where everybody wants to see. So when we get over there, we're going to stay over there pretty tight-knit. We're going to be a half-moon circle just like this. Whenever tourists come through here, I don't want them to see them like trying to steal my ideas of what's going on over there. So with that, April, you're going to be obviously focused with your specific camera, so that way we have some really good footage of the whole scenario. The other piece, like I said, the other 2 cameras, by all means, get footage of wherever you want, and this is the location of why I have that camera. Somebody brought one of the big chunky ones. We had an 8-minute interaction with a figure inside this gate, and it was, I say interaction, Henry, is if I can read some of your poetry, raise your right hand. Like that kind of interaction. I also have another anomaly on the other side of that tree with somebody sitting on the ground with their knees up and holding their arms like this, like they're reading a book. And again, moving around a little bit. I didn't get any interaction like move this, do that, but I still had at least a good 30 seconds of somebody sitting. So very interesting pieces. We have gotten the EMF all the way up to 167, so Justin, that would mean that you max out if that actually occurs, because you only go to 25. But with Jeff, obviously you're going to be the one that's going to be the tally for that, to kind of see if we get anything else out of it. Teresa and anybody else for the communication device, if we don't get answers out of Maddie and Mary, the answers will go to another spirit box. So it's normally going to come up. We've actually had the words being spelled out for us, 5 to 6 letter words.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you'll see that. When we get over there, try to pay attention to what I'm telling them, what to expect out of this whole scenario. So let's go over and let's blindfold some ladies. Let's do this. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, Megan, you're kind of mad at the game right now.
Okay.
Don't look at that.
What? Why?
You got to go. Don't look at stuff like that.
said, tomorrow morning. Have you guys ever seen AI generate an image before? Okay, so I'll do a very, very quick. Oops, sorry, wrong person. I'll do a very, very quick demo, and then I'll slide my phone inside of Betty's device. So I'm going to I use Bing every day to create a social media post for me with original artwork. This is how I do it. So I just tell it exactly what I want it to do, and you're going to see how it actually generates and how I actually choose my
Beat, right?
yeah search engine.
Okay.
Not yet. Create a comic book style image of an obelisk with 12 people standing around it at night with a full moon in the background holding electronic devices. See how specific I got? I put numbers in there, time of day, artwork, like what style of image that I wanted. And then it'll pop up and say, I'll try to create that, depending on how strong the signal I can get over here. And then it'll give me 4 options to choose from. Once I slap my logo on it, I now own that picture. I actually, just for shits and giggles, I made a picture this morning. It was a cartoon image of Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and a turkey going trick-or-treating. The whole point was I want people to book their ghost hunting tours early, because again, I'm open year-round. That was my whole point. So you can see I can be very clever, because I'm a writer. That's what I do, right, Tracy? Alright, so you gave me 4 images. See how accurate it is. So it should be 12 people standing around an obelisk with a full moon in the background. And go ahead and take that blindfold off. Thank you. So 4 images. So I use an archive, and I wanted it in a comic book style image.
That's really cool.
So I want you to, just the way I talked into my phone, I want you guys to think of what Letty's going to go through as if the ghost is translating the EMF around us and whispering into the phone to make an image so she can see it. Does that make sense? Yeah, so hopefully what she sees is going to correlate with what these two say. Alright, so I'm going to have you ever used AI before? Or virtual reality?
Flower.
So basically you're going to see like a rolling and you're going to tell us everything that's not very smart. So it's going to be 2D images, it's not going to be like 3D in your face kind of stuff. So it's just going to kind of float out in the middle of cyberspace, and you're just going to tell us what you see. Your focus for this, in case things get blurry, there's a dial right there. You can just turn it any way you need to so you can see it better. So once I get
Do I have to be looking at them?
No, you're going to be looking, you're going to see, it's a whole world in there. So once I get this guy set up, you can look anywhere you want to. Alright ladies, so blindfolds first, then noise canceling headphones. I'm sorry, then earbuds. You guys are all mixed up. Maddie's got her own setup going on. Earbuds for you next, Mary. Go on your lap, you got it. And then yes, Mom, you're going to have to go with those noise canceling headphones to put them over top of her head. And then everybody remember, we're going to circle it nice and tight. See, you're going to see that, but in like one line of sight. You'll see here in just a second. So slide that into your head. Need help? There's still some.
Thank you.
Okay, it is 11:30 on the dot, so I'm going to start the session now. So give us some volume, Maddie. Do you hear me? Maddie, can you hear me? Okay, so. Maddie, can you hear me? Mary, can you hear me? Henry Timura, if you are here, I'm going to need you to try to push through. I've got 3 young ladies sitting here. 2 of them can hear what you want us to hear, and 1 can see the visuals. I'm going to start off with something simple with your occupation, like I always do. And stand off to the front. Very sad. Just everybody knows his son and himself died in the war. So it's been very quiet for the past few weeks. Henry, tell us something about your occupation. If they don't start talking, you guys are going to look up their ear, I'll remind them to talk. Henry, can you show us something that you had to use for your occupation, please? Any of the tools that you had to use, I will take as an exception that you are here. Yeah, let's lift up their earmuffs, remind them to talk to us.
What?
Tell us what you're hearing.
Tell us what you're hearing. I'm not really hearing anything yet. Okay.
America.
There's a guy. Henry, I would really appreciate an Henry, let's just dive right in. Can you tell us the date of when your sun constellation is coming up here? Can we get a number? Tell us the date. Sun constellation.
Forgotten some.
Like a battlefield gunshot. Poor Letty's just looking at the stars.
Yeah.
Informed. Henry,
I can.
we would love for you to talk back to us. I understand if this is a hard month. We're trying to learn more about you. What's going on the other side over there?
Earthquake.
Let's talk about the war that you served in. You want to go that route? She's shaking pretty hard.
Yes.
This is why I don't write anything down, so I can keep an eye on breathing and all that.
Samuel. Use the way.
Being very close.
Dead. Family.
Henry, let's talk about the war. Can you tell us what war you served in? The specific war? Henry, I know it's a very busy Saturday night, but we would appreciate anything. You can even tell us to go home.
Nobody.
You could tell us to go home at this point. That would at least prove to me that you're here. Henry, an image could be fantastic. Anything could be fantastic.
Got to yellow.
Did you?
Yeah.
Can you give us the date of your son's death? I know I'm poking the bear with this one, Henry, but we're trying to learn more about you. That was October 23rd,
You.
by the way. So everybody knows what that number is. Poor Letty. I feel bad. Got nothing. Honestly, it's a true testament of like what this month is for him.
The average.
The average. I mean, it's been like this almost every night this month.
Really?
He died on October 6th. His son died October 23rd. Yep.
No.
Passion.
So just like I mentioned, the old jail, where it's a theme of names, I also have to look at a theme of silence.
Yeah.
Or non-visual. Finally! But she also got mine. Was it mine or yours? Which one is it, Henry? Need to come through a little bit more clear than that. Everything's really confusing right now.
Do you want us to leave? That's a yes/no question.
Every little thing.
She had a lot of phrases with the word every in it. Henry, do you want us to go home? We'll leave if you tell us. I would love an image. You could put a middle finger in there right now and I would take it as an image. In the air. Henry, we're down to 1 minute. See how fast this goes by? That was 10 minutes.
Oh wow, that's quick.
It goes super quick. For them, it feels like 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, Henry, I'm going to wrap this up. Can you tell us goodnight? Going once. Going twice. All right, moms, let's tap them out. Letty, go ahead and peel that thing off your face. Did you at least smell a cigar in there? No?
I smell like cigarettes. Is somebody smoking? Oh, I'm getting.
I felt like everything I got was from like. It was like everything.
It was just music station.
I just felt like everything I got did not make sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I got yours.
I will tell you, and this is why I always usually have the person going under, is the person that's been listening to it for the past 2.5 hours. Because at this point, you're like, I'm only hearing the radio. That's what we want you to tell us. It's okay. So again, I was like, is she fall asleep? Is she okay? You know, those kind of things.
I was just really feeling like really lightheaded.
That was my next question. Did both of you two feel okay?
I felt whenever we first arrived here, I had
meant now.
headpan.
I meant after the whole session.
But after the session, no.
Okay.
Like halfway through the session, everything just kind of mellowed
I
out.
was feeling like lightheaded.
Well, don't get up. I don't need baby giraffes falling on the ground.
Like it was as though like everything just kind of like I only heard the words that made sense. I didn't hear the static.
Did y'all ask me anything when I said yours?
There was one that stuck out to me. It was someone screaming like
Right when you started asking questions and stuff.
Everybody.
Yeah, stop just walking back and
Something
do.
You said a lot of like
pictures.
every something. You had that phrase in there quite
Yeah,
a bit.
there was like
think
one of the last
something-
ones I said was just like a very loud woman
that's his?
screaming every
No, I
something.
don't think it's his. I think it's
So
something that
with
he
this
needs to ask.
particular session that just occurred, I'm going to count this as obviously very unsuccessful.
About 2 keys.
Like we didn't have any answers whatsoever that were relevant. We got absolutely no images that came out.
I don't think you were asking the right question.
What do you think I was supposed to be asking?
Because right in the middle of what you were
They were on
doing,
your thing, dude.
it had me look down and I found this on the ground, and I think you're supposed to ask about 2 keys.
Does this belong to anybody? This looks
That
like it
was
belongs-
right inside the bricks, right there, right
Oh,
behind you. I couldn't read it.
I'll take my EF back
You
now.
have to take a magnifying glass to read it.
It's not American. It's not English on here.
Yeah.
I want my ink. I want my
Well, I
ink
heard
back.
Ohio in there somewhere.
I heard
No,
they
but
did.
I think you
I
need
heard-
to ask
I know,
about
but I
2
really
keys.
thought
I
that
don't
was just
think
the
that's
channel, like,
relevant what you
No,
got in your hand.
that's
I think I
something.
was showing
I heard
something
Ohio
that
there at the
you need
at
to
the
ask. It
beginning.
may
I
not
didn't
be
think it was
about
anything.
2 keys, but it's
like,
relevant in what you were talking about, but you weren't quite asking the right questions.
So I kind of always try to start off with something very basic and simple to kind of get verification that they're here.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll repeat that question over and over again and then try to lead it into something else, which
Yeah.
is how I've
This
normally
was like
gotten-
halfway into it, after you got past that.
Very interesting. I am going to probably take a picture of this when I get to the office so you guys can actually see
But
the
it was
writing
right
on it.
here. Because I was taking pictures, I kept, and then going slow, and something made me look down right when you were trying to get, you gave them a dilemma that we had 60 seconds left to go,
Right after we did that, I was actually a trail.
I'm definitely going to...
and it was right here, right inside the. It may not be relevant, but you might.
But you were meant to find it for some reason. So
Yeah, you might
everybody's
get
gonna
something
see
out of it. If not, then next time.
Should I turn this off?
Yeah, so here's how this is going to go down. So we are all wrapped up. We did get a little bit of a blip on our EMF reading, right, Justin?
Yeah.
So we got a small, like, little 10 to 12, EMF reading that came out of this. So we have gotten up to triple digits, but sometimes when we don't have a lot going on here, I was surprised to hear you say you had something, I'll be honest. So I will be writing that piece down. your data that you're going to get back here when I get back to the office. So let me kind of take this out a little bit.
Right after I found that, he turned orange.
Nothing at all. That's exactly why I'm saying it's
right
irrelevant.
after I found, right when I found it, he turned orange.
Is that about the same time?
Right at the same time. And then you were giving him the time limit. Hey, we're going to let you go.
Yeah.
And stuff. And it was, if things were getting a little tense on that side, you weren't asking the right questions.
I may not have been speaking to the right spirit either. So here's the thing about what we just did. Reason why I asked at the very beginning is if somebody else was here. We've had Dr. Ladd slip in here from the dueling story. The house he lived in, 59 Church Street, it's 0.3 miles in that direction. We have seen him slip through, and I normally take that bench over there, but somebody else had it taken.
He may have
when
been
we
in
got
this
over here.
location several times.
Didn't you have a name Rachel come across? The name Rachel.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've also gotten things relevant to that monument over there. That is that for what it's worth.
Can I get the history now?
Nope. You gotta wait till tomorrow when you get your audio back.
That's like what you all talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too. Now, most of you have a device that has a giant QR code on it. Some of you may be wondering what that is. That is my business card. It's not on yours.
Sure.
It's giant, and you wouldn't be able to miss it. Yeah, exactly. So I don't do paper business cards. So if you guys want my contact info, website, social media crap, all the TikTok, Facebook stuff that I do, that's how you get it. Tap your phone if you're Android. Scan it if you're Apple. Tap it.
What?
Put your phone, like the middle of your phone, over top of it.
Like this?
No, the middle of the back of your phone. There you
Now
go.
that I think about it, there was a couple of songs in there that said was not.
I was getting.
I was getting like was not, not here.
This was
like,
a
those
lively
types
group.
of songs, but I kind of just ignored. I kind of just ignored like the songs.
Very lively
Oh
group.
yeah.
So you guys have to imagine, like, I'm the weirdo in town. So, like, I know I attract all the weirdos. You know, so, and I normally tell you guys at the beginning of the night, like, if you're wondering where they're at, look around. You're there. Like, everybody's going to be staring at you because you have all the crazy kids.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
So let me stop your regular audio. That'll kind of give me a gist of, like, we've been out for 3 hours, guys, just so you know. Like, it's 2 hours and 59 minutes, like, to the dot. So you're definitely going to have close to that 12 hours worth of media coming. Again, I don't time this. We just kind of go. So it is what it is. Most of the time, it averages between, like, 2 hours and 15 minurs to 2.5 hours. So again, definitely got, you know, an extra 30 minutes.
Oh well, thank you.
Well, with the media, it's definitely going to be closer to an extra, like, hour and a half to 2 hours worth of extra media. All right, so I'm going to collect devices going from right to left. So
I got hers.
Yeah,
I feel
so
like the
turn your
urge
volume.
to
Oh, you already
walk
turned
the
yours.
other side over there